Hi everyone! Today we are going to be doing another part of this colour along, which I started 6 years ago. So yeah, I don't do things quickly, do I? No, actually it was due to good reason, which I have explained on a short 3-minute video that I posted earlier today on my channel. Just explaining that this colour along really shouldn't have been completed because I started it. I did 2 parts of it, which is still up on my channel, and I'll put the links in the description if you want to start it all over again with me, but they are 6 years old, those videos. And then I had a couple of big family losses within sort of 1 week, and I couldn't bring myself to sort of finish doing this page. I'd lost all faith in it, lost all motivation in it, didn't want to colour it anymore. So I sold the book, and years later, I rebought the book, which is Romantic Country 3. And of course, it didn't have my original partially coloured page in there because it was a brand new copy of the book. So I, last night, followed my own tutorial and coloured it up until the place where we stopped off after the second part. So this will be continuing right after the second video, which was last done in 2019. I think it was, yeah, 6 years ago. So we're just going to carry on as if the last 6 years never happened. Imagine we could cut all that out, all that COVID nonsense, and just get rid of all of those horrible years. But we can't, but we're here anyway, doing the rest of this colour along. So I hope that you're going to enjoy doing this with me. And yeah, seeing where we go from here, getting the page finally completed. So when I last did my video, the second part, I was watching it back when I was colouring this again, and this is the sort of plan, very rudimentary, very crude plan that I came up with as regards the colours that I'm going to use on this page. So you can see we've got the blue and the beige banners in the background. We've got obviously the black and red post box with the gold bits, and then we have the tree and the nutcracker stood at the side. So I'm going to still continue with this plan. There might be, you know, bits that I haven't put on here or that I want to change, but I don't think so. So we're going to continue with this. I'm just not sure about having the nutcracker in the red and black because there's an awful lot of red and black here, and this really is the centre stage. It's the thing that you're most focused on as soon as you look at the page, and I don't really want to take away from that. So I probably will change up the nutcracker colours a bit. Maybe I'll, you know, put some greens in there to sort of do a symmetry with the tree on the other side. We'll see. But I think I'm going to start off today with just some of these leaves that are on this little, what do you call these, garlands over the top of the post box. And then whatever greens I've used for that, I'll probably use for the tree as well. Still kind of undecided whether to go sort of true green, very bright green, exactly the colour you would think when you think of green, grass green, or whether to go a little bit more desaturated, a little bit more like a fir green. I don't know, I'm not decided yet. But the rest of the page is all very bold, vibrant hues. So I don't know whether I should just continue on with that kind of theme, because I think if I did these quite desaturated, it'd just disappear off the page and it won't quite look right. So I probably am going to go with really bright, vibrant greens. But yes, anyway, that's what we're kind of doing. So that being said, I'm going to pick out the 3 greens that I always use for a bright and vibrant green. And we are working with Prismacolor because that's what we started with, so we will end with it as well. And I'm going to use the dark green, grass green and spring green. They are 3 beautifully blending greens. I may come in with some black to deepen up like I did on the red that we've got here. You can see there is some really dark grey, black sort of shadows on the red because I really wanted to make it pop out on contrast. So let's get started then. These are all pretty sharp. So I always start with the darkest colour. Again, it's up to you what you want to do. I'm going to zoom you in. And are we zoomed in enough? Yeah, that should do. Hopefully it's not too distorted. I'm trying to keep you out of the glare as well, so I've like moved the page really far down so it's almost like touching my tummy, the bottom of the page, because I want to keep you out of the glare. Right, so dark green PC 908, and we're just going to do these leaves, you know, really easily. Let's start here, why not? I just want to make sure you can see me as well, because it's often the trouble with top-down filming. You do get like the whole page from the top down, and it's really good for that, but sometimes your hand is in the way when you're colouring, and I'm really conscious of that. A couple of my most recent videos, I've noticed when I was editing them, my hand was covering everything, so I'm really trying to keep, because sometimes I do colour right up to the wire, you know, so I'm trying to keep my hand back a little bit. But this is what I'm going to be doing basically. So I'm just going to put in some of the dark areas on the leaves. I'm trying to think about, you know, overlapping leaves and where shade would form, but I'm not too bothered about that, to be honest. I'm not really one of these colorists that wants to get everything hyper realistic and everything correct in terms of light sources and stuff. I just want it to look pretty. I would love to be able to just have that ability, but it just takes too much effort and too much time to sort of think, you know, and you've got to plan everything. You know, every single bit of the page has to conform to wherever your light's coming from. And I'm just like, nobody's got time for that. So this is why I'll never be a proper sort of high-tech colouring channel that's probably going to go really far, because I just can't, you know, I just want this to be fun. I want it to always be fun. And if I start trying to make things too difficult, it's going to start being like a chore, and then I won't want to do it. So I've been colouring the same way probably for the last like 7 or 8 years. I started doing this 10 years ago, and obviously I have sort of self-taught, self-improved my colouring skills from the start, but I think I've kind of plateaued now. I never seem to get any more skilled. So, you know, I think this is where I'm at. This is my level. Just blending, making sure the colours are really smooth together, and lots of contrast, lots of pop elements on the page. But other than that, that's literally all it is. So I don't want to change that. It would be great if I could just be naturally talented at that kind of thing, but I'm not, and then I can't sort of bring myself to spend the time, I suppose. I don't know. I just want colouring to remain fun, and I want this channel to remain a good resource for people who are either just starting out and want to get, you know, get how to colour like I do now, want to get to that level, or, you know, you're just happy with this kind of level of colouring, which there's nothing wrong with this. It's just that it's very hard not to compare yourself to other people, which I shouldn't do, but it is difficult because there are so many incredibly talented colourists who make everything look really hyper realistic. I've spoken about this before, so I don't want to bore you, but you know, it does make you think, oh gosh, I could never do that, you know. But that's okay. It doesn't mean that you have to get to that level. And I think from what I've been told by people, quite a lot of viewers don't actually want me to go down that road of hyperrealism and, you know, making it so complex and intricate and perfect. I think people just want me to remain sort of achievable, what I do, and relatable, and just sort of get on with it and create a really nice bright piece of smoothly blended artwork at the end of it. So I have to keep reminding myself of that people don't necessarily want me to be any better than I am, which is nice, you know. It just means that it's not pressure on me. So yeah, waffle already. I bet you just wish you would have left this colour along in the past. But yeah, I did do a colour along the other day. It was in Hannah Carlson's God Yule, and it was me creepifying a Christmas page. You might have seen it. And the last couple of colour alongs I've done actually have been silent ones, because I don't normally colour at my desk, and I've spoken about this before as well. I'm normally on the settee with the recliner up. The book is sort of balanced on either my iPad or a hardback book, some hard surface, on my lap, and I've got my knees up and I'm watching TV. It's not, you know, I've tried to film in that position before and it just doesn't work. So whenever I do come and sit at my desk, it is always to do a video. I don't sit here and colour on the regular. So what was my point? I think I was just going to say, what, I forgot, I've lost it. You know what? My brain is terrible. It really, really is. I don't know if I've got early onset or something, but I am just forgetting things all over the place. Although I did find out that my tablets can cause that, so I just wish I knew what I was going to say. It might come to me. Yeah, about the silent colour alongs, there you go. So yeah, the last few of them have been silent because I like to have something playing in the background while I'm colouring, and I just like to immerse myself in it and not even realise really what I'm doing. So sitting here and talking is difficult because I've got to think of things to say all the time, and you know, I don't want to be boring or say something that's not PC maybe by accident and be like, oh no, you know, I don't want to offend anyone. And it's like being live on camera, you know, it's a bit daunting. So normally I've either got a film on in the background, like a horror film, obviously, or I've got true scary stories on YouTube. There's a few channels that I really like. It was quite funny because we've just had like the YouTube replay or recap or whatever it is for the videos that you've watched over the past year, and pretty much every channel on my list was some channel of true horror stories, because I listen to them a lot. So it's either that, or occasionally I've got music on. I do love to listen to music, but more likely it will be a horror story or a horror film. So when I am colouring and I've got to talk, obviously it's a little bit more difficult, and I've got to think about what I'm doing. I've got to remember to tell you what I'm doing and explain things. So silent colour alongs are actually better for me, but I've had so many comments of people saying that they really miss me actually talking on colour alongs, which is lovely to hear, don't get me wrong. It's just, I've just got to think of things to say. There we go. So I think I've done every leaf. Yeah. So we move on to the medium colour, which is the grass green PC 909. And again, I'm just going over what I've done, leaving a little bit of a white area for our lightest colour. This is a transition colour, so it just means that we can go from the darkest to the lightest with a little bit of help in between. So we don't need much of it at all. This is just purely to transition. So you don't want to fill in too much of that white. We need to leave space, but you do definitely want there to be just that little helpful transition area in between, so that we don't have trouble mixing and blending our darkest and our lightest colours. So anyway, like I said, it's been 6 years since I started this colour along. Again, if you go back and start again and you watch the videos, you'll figure out, you know, like I said, I had some family bereavements and why I stopped the colour along. So that is still all on there for you to to look at. But now I feel like I can come back to this page fresh, you know. I couldn't look at it for a while, and not in like a really, you know, over the top way. Like I can't look at the page because it's, I just didn't want to do it. I just really didn't have the motivation to do it, and it just knocked me for six a bit really. But now, when I was flicking through this book last night thinking I want to colour a page from Eri, and this one came up, it actually triggered the whole thing of me doing that colour along, and I was like, oh my gosh, maybe I could finish that. And I thought, you know what, I'm not going to say anything to anybody. I'm just going to try and colour it to the point where it was when we finished the colour along, and if I get that far and if I'm enjoying it and it's okay, then I might consider continuing. So I did that, and I really enjoyed it, and there were no real feelings of, you know, grief or sadness. Obviously I was thinking about it because that was the whole reason of me not doing it in the first place. But like I said in the little short video today, enough time has passed and I'm, you know, kind of disconnected from that now. Not in a horrible way, just that I'm disconnected from the feelings I had with this particular page at that particular time. So yeah, that's why I'm finishing it. Now we've got spring green. I'm not sure what PC this is. Let's see if I can have a look. PC 913. So yeah, that is why we're finishing it, because I'm not attaching any negativity to it anymore. Obviously, I still miss my granddad massively. I don't, you know, there's not many days that go by that I don't think about my grandparents that have passed away. And, you know, my aunt passed away as well that same week, which I did say in the other video, you know, I wasn't particularly close to her, but still it was a blow because I was backward and forward between hospital and care home, between two different family members, both sort of terminally ill basically. So it wasn't nice, obviously, but like I said, I am sort of, I'm not over it, obviously. Why can't I think of the right word I want to say? I've come through the other side of it, and the grief and those feelings aren't gripping me as they were before. So yeah. You see how I have to justify everything because I don't want to say things wrong. I don't want anyone to pick up on anything I say wrong, and that's why it really scares me to do lives. Remember when I used to do the lives on a Tuesday night, and sometimes I just wouldn't know what to say and the chat might be a little bit quiet, and I just thought, who's wanting to to listen to this? So yeah, that's my biggest problem with not doing the colour alongs, you know, talking on the colour alongs, just thinking about what to say. It's not too bad in regards to saying the wrong thing, because I know that if this is pre-filmed, I can edit it out if I say anything bad. I remember I said something once about, I think I was colouring like an Asian page or Asian influence page, and I said the word Oriental, and I did not know that that is now, I think it's like almost a slur, and I did not know. And I felt so awful about that, like really, really bad. I was like, because I would never want to meaningfully or on purpose offend anyone or say any kind of slur. But I never knew. I used to hear it on the telly all the time when we were kids, you know, and sometimes you're just not aware that how things have changed phrase-wise and things like that. Obviously there are, you know, more well-known sort of phrases that are now taken as slurs, which I do know. I'm not completely ignorant, but, you know, I just don't want to get anything wrong, and I don't want anyone to be mad at me. I think I'm just a bit of a baby inside, really. I need to grow up a bit, and I don't know. What am I waffling about? You see, this is what happens when I've got nothing to say. So I'm just going over with the darkest green and just making sure those darks really are nice and dark. Like I said, I might go in with some black. I'll see how I feel. At the moment, I want to leave it as is. So like I said, I think I'm going to do the tree in these colours purely because I don't want it to be, I mean, a kind of fur green would be really, really nice on a Christmas tree, but contrasting with the rest of the bright colours on the page, I think it will just disappear. And maybe, I mean, I could sort of do it another way, which would be to not use too much of a desaturated green, but just a little bit, so maybe like a lime peel. And let me see, I'm just looking at my pencils. Let me zoom you out again. There we go. So I've got lime peel and marine green here, and I mean, lime peel it's not as bright obviously as spring green, but it's not too desaturated either. I've also got the apple green, which is quite similar actually to this, kind of in between the spring and the grass green. So could I make that work? But if I do these colours on the tree, there's no other foliage or kind of leaf work that would tie in with this colour. So this might look really out of place because it's a completely different set of greens. I think I might just stick to the greens I've already used because it's safer that way. And hopefully it should all tie in together. So I'm going to do that. So let's zoom you in now. With the tree, just move you along. Hopefully you don't get any glare on this. It's really annoying. I'm going to have to make sure these are really nice and sharp. Excuse me, because do I want to try and do a semi-realistic sort of like branch thing, or do I want to just block blend? I think if I block blend, it will look a bit odd You know what I've seen before? Somebody, I don't know who it was. Let me just grab some paper. Where am I? Right, I'll do it on the back of this. Somebody coloured the tree and they made all the individual little fir branches like that. And then, you know, obviously did a bit of different colour on it. And did that. And if you can just imagine that sort of times the whole tree, that might look okay. Shall I try it? Shall I just do it? I hope it don't mess up, because this colour along is meant to be sort of like cathartic, and it's meant to turn out really nice so that we can have a nice end to the story. But I don't know, let's give it a go. What's the worst that can happen? So I'm just going to sharpen the Prisma. I'm using Teagal again. Do you remember when these were all the rage in the colouring community? Probably like 8 years ago or something like that. Because they make really short points, so you're not sort of chewing up a load of your pencil at a time. And with the Prismacolors being so soft, they do need to be sharpened quite a lot. So it's nice just to be able to sharpen the very point of them. But I found when I had Teagals before that the blade would blunt quite easily. I've only had this one for a couple of weeks and it's great so far, but I think they're one of those things that do need replacing quite a lot. For me, maybe not for you. But anyway, so I have the dark green PC908. I think I'm going to have to do them downwards, aren't I? Because that kind of follow the shape of the tree then. So I think how big do I do them? Let's just draw one in. So I'm just going to do a line, kind of curving out a bit. And then some arrows. And then just keep doing them, I guess. I probably should have looked up how other people do it and tried to emulate that. But let's have one up here. So you see the pencil's blunting already. Well, if I give this even just half a turn, it goes straight back to pointed again. So let's do another one here. I was just about to say, what's everyone been up to? Chat to me in the comments, but you know, it has been 6 years, so you've probably been up to quite a lot. I don't know whether to, do I do a little one? I don't know, I'm trying to fill in gaps now and I don't know whether that's the right thing to do, so I might just do some bigger ones and then decide afterward. The other thing about colour alongs whilst I'm talking is I don't get a lot of time in the house when it's quiet, you know, because obviously I've got my kids and they are teenagers now. God, my oldest is nearly 20. How crazy is that? But there's just never kind of peace and quiet in the house, unless obviously my eldest is at uni and my youngest is at college and my husband's in bed and the dog's not barking. Do you see what I mean? And even then, so many times I've sat down to film and it's like it knows the instant I sit down, the doorbell will ring or one of the kids will just bound downstairs and be like, what we got to eat, you know? I'm like, I'm trying to film. But yeah, so there's not a lot of time that I actually get quiet and peaceful to do chatty colour alongs, I suppose. I do like doing them, but it is better when there's a chat in front of me, even though it is live and that's scary in its own right. It is better because at least we've got a bit of a back and a forth, you know. I don't know if I'm making these too far apart. I might just bang a few little branches in there. So this is just, I'm just going to do what I can do for now, and then see what to do about filling in the spaces in a bit. Let's do another one that's curving down here. Tell you what I did enjoy doing, I think it was like 2 videos back or 3 videos back, I did a colouring tag, and there's so many people doing these on YouTube, and I do enjoy watching them and listening to them, but I never seem to participate. I don't know if it's, I think it's just time and stuff, and forgetting is massive. So I did the colouring confessions tag, and I really, really enjoyed it, and a lot of you watched it and enjoyed it as well, which was brilliant. So maybe I need to do more kind of things like that, if that's something you'd be interested in watching. I'm always thinking of what you guys will be interested in watching, you know, because there's things that I like to do, of course, and it is my channel, I understand that, but I just really want to, I've always wanted this to be for the community, this channel. So, you know, every sort of year, I'll probably put a post on Facebook or wherever saying, what do you want to see from my channel? And I'll get quite a few good ideas, and some of them I will implement, and some of them I'll forget about, and some of them I'll procrastinate with and then forget about. But yeah, I did it the other week actually, and I had some really cool ideas. One of the most requested things was chatty colour-alongs, so here I am. But it'd be nice if I knew, if I had something to actually chat about, you know. Maybe I should just start doing lives again. I don't know. It's not something I can hold myself to. I'm not very good at sticking to things. So, you know, specific times and dates and having to be okay enough to come on is not as easy as it sounds. But maybe I could just do them sort of off the cuff. It's just that people will miss them then and be kind of annoyed that they've missed them because they didn't know I was coming on. So, I don't know. Talk to me about you. How have you been? That's another thing. It feels quite self encompassing when it's just me talking, because I'm just talking about myself, and I don't like to just talk about myself. I'm not one of those people. So let's just give this another twist because it's getting a little bit thick again. So it is the 11th of December. We are fast approaching Christmas. So this is actually a perfect time to do this colour along, isn't it? But I'm not doing Christmas shopping this year. I'm just going to give the kids a bit of money, and that's it, because they can get what they want then, and I don't have to worry about, you know, trying to find hundreds of pounds worth of the latest computer games that they want or whatever, you know. I just have a budget and I give them a bit of money and that's it. And yeah, so it's really sad for me though, because as I said, my kids are grown up now, really. I've got one that's nearly 20 and one that's 17, and Christmas, the magic of Christmas has passed, you know. It's really, really sad. Like, this is a time when if I wanted another baby, I'd want to have one now, just to do the whole Christmas thing again, the excitement, the innocence. But no, that's not on the cards for me. No, thank you. It's just sad. I want it to be like it used to be, where it was that build up and that excitement, and that I couldn't sleep on Christmas Eve, never mind the kids, you know, because I was so excited to see their faces when they woke up that I couldn't sleep. And it's just sad that that's kind of gone by the wayside now. I wish we could sort of go back in time. I think that would be one of my superpowers, if I could have one, would just be to experience a single day from my past, and, you know, get to see the kids when they were little again. It's so sad when you think you'll never see your kids like you saw them before, because they grow up and they change, and yeah, but I'd love that. I was talking about what superpower I would like to have the other night, and straight away mine was like perfect health. If I could be like that bloke off Unbreakable that can't get injured, can't get disease, never even has so much as a cold, then my life would be exponentially better. I would be able to do pretty much everything in life. I'd be unstoppable, because I would have the confidence that I don't have because of my health issues to go out and have an amazing job, a career, and you know, holidays and money. It means very little in the fact that I don't have much of it and I don't need it either. You know, I'm not materialistic in that way. Obviously, you know, that means that it's difficult sometimes, and you know, trying to pay the bills and stuff, and everything is going up, and the food shop is going up, and it's like, oh my goodness. Yeah, so obviously, I don't mean to sound blasé, because money is very important, but to me, my health is everything, and I would love to have kind of ironclad, oh my god, ironclad, here I go again. I literally can't remember what I'm saying. Like a document that was, you are never going to get ill or feel ill ever again. And then I'd just be flying, honestly. So what would your superpower be? And try and think about it. Try not to just run to sort of invisibility and stuff like that. One superpower that I used to wish I had was, if anyone remembers in the UK and you're kind of my age or have kids that were my age, you might remember Bernard's Watch. And it was a CITV children's TV programme where this lad called Bernard has a special pocket watch, and every time he clicks it, the entire world around him freezes, and he can just go about and do whatever he wants, and everyone's frozen and nobody knows otherwise, and then he clicks it again and everybody is unfrozen and they just continue. They had no clue that they were frozen. And I used to wish and sort of fantasize that I had Bernard's watch, because I used to be so worried about going out, and I still am. You know, it's not changed much. I'm probably not as bad with it, but going out, especially when I was really bad with like my IBS and my stomach issues, and I just used to fantasize about having Bernard's watch, because then if I'm on the motorway in heavy traffic and I really got to go, I could just click Bernard's watch and I'll be over that hedge. Done. Back in the car, Bernard's watch, go. You know, it was like, I've never wanted to ruin things for anybody. I'm really, really conscious of that, you know. So if we go on holiday or anything, not that I can travel abroad, but if we go on holiday anywhere, I don't want my conditions to ruin anyone else's time, you know. So it's sharpen again. So if I could have Bernard's watch like that, I could just pause everybody for as long as I wanted, you know. Even if I was feeling ill and I was just like, right, I need a couple of hours rest, and just to not be judged and not be feeling like I'm annoying anyone or ruining things for anyone, that would be amazing. What other superpowers would I like to have? I don't know. It's difficult, isn't it? I think just the power of having perfect health would mean everything to me. I think if I had, well, I know if I had one wish, that's what I'd wish for immediately. Obviously, I want to have the health and happiness of my family, but that we're going on to wishes now, aren't we? That's not a superpower. Digress. So as you can see, I'm just putting these pine needle, fir needle things anywhere really. And again, I'm not really looking where I'm doing it because I'm too busy chattering. But let's do one down here. Maybe do one that's a little bit bigger. So we've got some variation. No idea how this is going to turn out. Looking at it now, it looks atrocious. But hopefully when we get some more colours on there and blend those greens a little bit, it should come together, I'm hoping. Have you watched anything fun on telly lately? I'll tell you what I've got into, Traitors. So I believe it started in the UK and now there's a Traitors Australia, a Traitors US. And I was never into it. I think it started in like 2022. And I saw adverts for it, but I just wasn't interested in watching it. And then we've just recently had our first celebrity Traitors, and I watched the first episode and I was hooked. It was absolutely brilliant. And now I've just watched the first 2 series of the sort of like civilian Traitors, the normal Traitors. I've got one more series to watch before I'm caught up. And then next year, 2026, they're going to be doing a normal one and another celebrity one, I think. So I'm really excited for that because I love it. I absolutely love Traitors. If you've never heard of it, look it up. It's fantastic. I wasn't sure whether I'd like the normal Traitors because obviously it's just random people that you don't know, and I didn't think it would be as fun as the celebrity one was, but I was wrong, because it's actually far more ruthless and dramatic. The one where it's people actually playing for the money for themselves. If you don't know what Traitors is, let me just give you a quick overview. So you go into a castle, there's 22 of you, I think there is, and you go to a castle, you're all strangers, and the presenter, who is fantastic, she blindfolds everybody. You all have to sit at a round table, right? And she blindfolds everyone, and she chooses 3 traitors by tapping them on the shoulder. Obviously, nobody else knows who the traitors are, so everybody else is classed then as a faithful. So only the traitors know who the traitors are, because they meet every night at midnight in the turret of the castle and murder someone. Obviously not really murder them, but they have to pick off the faithfuls and try and go about the game without anyone twigging that they are the traitor. So obviously all the faithfuls don't know who the traitors are, but they start to kind of guess over the days when people are acting strangely, or if they're really good traitors, they can make it right through to the end and they never guess. But every night before the murder is another round table. So they're not blindfolded this time, that's just for the picking the traitors. But every night there's a round table and they all get round and they have to banish someone. So the faithfuls and the traitors, because they're pretending to be faithfuls as well, have to write someone's name on a slate who they want to banish because they think they might be a traitor. So obviously traitors aren't going to vote for themselves, so they're going to be trying to coerce the faithful into thinking, I think he's a traitor, you know, and get rid of him. And the aim of the game is to get rid of all the faithfuls so that you're a traitor at the end, and you get whoever remaining faithful is with you to fully believe that you are a faithful, and then you take all the money, and it's like 100 grand. Or if they can get all of the traitors out, the faithful will end the game and they win all the money and split it between them. So yeah, but if the traitor is still there at the end of the game, they will take the lot, and it's really dramatic. So yeah, it's good. It's good fun. So I'm just moving on to the grass green now. I just want to do a little bit of sort of shading around these fir branches. I don't know what you call them. Tomorrow night, me and my brother are going to the cinema to watch the original Shining, the horror movie, in the cinema, because obviously we didn't see it when it first came out. We weren't even born. So sometimes we do that. So we've done it a few times. I believe we've been to see The Exorcist, Silence of the Lambs, and there was another one we went to see as well that I can't remember. Sort of like the older horror films, and they're coming back into the cinema for one night only type thing, like maybe for an anniversary or something. I think it might be like 50 years since The Shining was made or something ridiculous like that, so that's why it's back in the cinema. So I'm looking forward to that, because obviously I've seen The Shining countless times. It's one of my absolute favourites, but I'm really excited to see it on the big screen with the, you know, the surround sound and stuff. So that's what I'm going to be going to see tomorrow night. But other than that, I've not really watched anything that was that good. Just tonight we watched, there's a programme here in the UK called 24 Hours in Police Custody, and I love things like that. So it's real cases, and you kind of follow the detectives around, firstly as they discover a crime has been committed, and you know there's body cam footage, they're on the scene, and then as they try and find who did it, and when they finally catch up to them, you get to hear the interviews. It's normally no comment, you know, because you've always got their defence person saying, don't say anything, even though, you know, most of the time they're bang to rights and they've got clear evidence it was them. And then you just follow it all the way through. And then at the end of the programme, you'll see what sentence they received or if they got convicted or not. So that's quite interesting. It's really well filmed as well. Like I think it's won awards. But some of the stories are obviously horrific. here we go. So this is spring green. Like the one we watched earlier was really, really bad. It was about a son and his dad who got murdered, grown-up son and his dad, because this son's ex-girlfriend wanted to take his child that they had together out to America and he wouldn't see him. So his ex's dad went and shot them. Absolutely horrific. And now, luckily, the son that died, his mum has now got custody of the boy, which is amazing. And I think the ex and her boyfriend have moved to America now, so she's got sole custody of her grandchild. But yeah, it was just, oh, it was awful. This is awful as well. Look at this. It looks terrible. I just wonder, you know what I might do? I might just colour all this spring green, and then I'm going to come back in with the dark green and just do loads of branches everywhere, because I think they just look too separate at the minute, and you're just seeing lines of green and it's just not right. We will make this work. I've got to now. I'm doing this for Grandad. So yeah, what else can I talk about? Because I don't have a life, so are you ready for Christmas, you guys? Let me know in the comments. Over the last few years, I've become a little bit cynical about it all, and I'm like, oh, I just want it over and done with. Which is really sad, because I was never used to be like that. Right, I'm making sure that I've got pretty much every area of white of the paper covered with this spring green. So we've got like a base. I probably could have done that first. So we've got a base of spring green. Now I'm going to come back in with the darker green, and I'm going to do some more lines. Hopefully you'll be able to see. I'm just going to fill in these gaps and hope for the best. I just want it to look like there's lots of spiky bits, individual blades, sort of in between, so that we've got a little bit of variety and it's not as uniform as it looks at the minute. And I think, just looking at this top bit that I've just done, it certainly looks a lot better than down here. It's a lot denser. We've got more layers going on, so the eye is seeing this as like a dense object that's got depth to it. And like I said, I don't have a lot of time, just me here that's quiet, so it might be that I only do this in this part, but I am definitely finishing this. I know you've heard me say it before, but I am definitely finishing this one. It means too much not to. But it's literally just carving out little bits of quiet time to get these parts done. Might even just come over the edges a little bit, because you know Eri, she does every single line of her books with toothpick dipped in ink, which is crazy to me because it's so amazingly drawn. And I love the coziness of it. I love the hand-drawn wobbly lines. So I can always go over those lines a little bit if I just want to flesh out the edges a little bit more, make it look a bit more rough and less contained within a border. So we've got a little bit of realism there. Going over some of the baubles, but that's okay at the moment. Piece that I've missed there. Just remembering to do a little half twist of this every couple of minutes, because it does blunt very quickly. I think definitely for any kind of detail or definition, you want a harder pencil. Obviously I am doing all of this with Prismas, and I want to prove that it can be done. You can do detail with Prismas, you've just got to keep on top of your sharpening. keep sort of semi-rotating the pencil as you go as well. So when you get one blunt edge, you might sometimes just catch me doing that. I don't even realise I'm doing it anymore. And I'm just slightly rotating the pencil so that we get the sharp edge again. And when it gets too blunt, I can just go back in with the sharpener. Does this look like a crazy jumble of scribbles? I'm kind of worried about that now. I hope it doesn't. I'm going to put some more layers of colour in as well, because I feel that's needed. I'm still here, I've just gone quiet. Just making sure that I'm covering, you know, any areas that look a bit too sparse. I mean, it doesn't look horrendous, but I've certainly seen better. Right, let's layer some more greens in. I've got that grass green again. Let's just let's maybe do underneath the sort of sections. Let's deepen those up a little bit. In fact, I'm going to go back to the dark green and deepen up some of those sections so it looks like we've got a little bit more of separate areas going on to the tree. Trying to see where Aries put the lines in. How do you guys say it? Airy or eerie? I've heard it be say different ways. It's probably neither of those. I've always just said airy because I'm common. So I am pressing quite hard with the pencil, as you can probably tell, because we are starting to burnish now. Put quite a lot of layers on. I don't know if I like it, to be quite honest. There's got to be a way to fix it though. There's got to be a way to make it what I'm more of like what I pictured in my mind's eye when I first started doing this. Do I need to bring in black, or can I go really dark with the green? Let me just get my colour family chart and then I can see what I'm working with. Just ignore how battered this is. Let me zoom you out again. Yeah, it's difficult with the Prismas because you can't really get a darker green than that. You can get a greyer green, a more desaturated green, but that's the darkest. I may have to skip to somewhere else. What about Luminance? They've got a few dark colours. I wonder if this dark Cyanine green, the dark sap green, yes, It is a slightly different tone. Let me give it a try. Is it this one? No, that's that phthalo thingy. Let's try this one. It is darker, but I don't believe it's making much of a difference. Derwent Lightfast have some really dark colours. I might just have a look at that in a minute. It is making a bit of a difference, I suppose. But is it the right difference? Do I have to come in and do a few darker branches? I think the problem is I'm going to end up just with a blob of green if I carry on. Maybe I need to walk away from it for a bit and then look at it again, because it might not be as bad as I think. That has happened. Or maybe I'm just hoping and praying. See, if I had you here with me, you'd be able to tell me what you think, and you know, don't hold back and tell me if it looks crap. Yeah, I think I'm going to need to put some darker branches over it. So I'll get my sharp point. Do a few of these a bit darker. Not everywhere though. Just so that we've got some difference. Oh, Claire, what have you done? Should have just block blended it. See, even though I've been colouring for 10 years, I've got a YouTube channel and blah blah blah, I quite often make quote unquote mistakes. It's quite funny actually. I was looking back at some skin mistakes that I made. I made one even just last week, which will never see the light of day apart from on this video, because I'm going to sneak peek show you. Let me see, where am I? So that one was what I did quite a while ago, where I tried to do face on tan tone paper. Is that right? Tone tan. And that's just horrid. And then there was this one that I did the other day. Now bear with me, because I was trying to do, I was working on a colour cube card, and I was only working with what colours I'd been given. And instead of going the nice route and using just skin tones as extras, I thought, no, I'm going to really challenge myself and do some purple skin. It's not even the first time I've done a different kind of, a kind of fantasy colour skin. And this is how it turned out. So yeah, not carrying on with that one. Oh, so you know, it just because I've been doing it a long time and I've got a channel and what have you. Oh God, things still go wrong all the time. I am not perfect at all. And even things I've done like a few times before and I've not had a problem with doing, sometimes it just doesn't work out. And I just think, why? You're meant to improve, not, you know, go back on yourself. But anyway, I'm looking at this bit here and it looks like blended looks better. Now that I've defined this top area, it looks like blended looks better, because it's kind of, how can I describe it? Too much definition is not making it look real, if you know what I mean. Let me bring back this spring green. Try and just blur some of it out a bit. I know I've just redefined with a darker green, but I just want to blur it again a little bit and get any bits of white that I missed. Should I have left this colour along back in 2019? No, come on Claire, stop being so negative. I'm telling myself off because I know you guys will tell me off in the comments, so I'll beat you to it. So I've definitely filled in the white spaces now. I'm just thinking if I just keep doing flicky branches, it's going to come together. I'm back with the grass green now, by the way, if you are following along. Like I said on the other video, I don't expect anybody to have put this colour along on hold 6 years ago and not finished their page, because I wouldn't do it. So if anybody is actually colouring along with me, good luck and Godspeed, because I don't know what I'm doing. What time is it? Oh my gosh, it's 9:20. I need to have some supper. I can't eat too late, and I can't eat heavy things too late because it sort of sits on my chest and it's horrible. So normally by this time, by like 8 o'clock, I will have like a bowl of cereal, just so that I'm not, you know, starving come bedtime and then I can't sleep because I'm too hungry. It's like a balancing act that I've got to play with myself every night, so that I don't eat too late and I don't eat too much, but I still do eat, you know. Not even supposed to eat late at night, are you? But I don't know. My sister's on this Monjaro jab. I wish she wouldn't do it. There's nothing wrong with her for a start, you know. I know, you know, it's all in her mind and it's what she thinks of herself and she wants to lose weight, and that's all okay. I understand that, but in my eyes, she's perfect, so. But we were joking the other day because she's getting married in a couple of years and I'm going to be maid of honour. And I said to her, because all of her other bridesmaids are just gorgeously slim, stunning, beautiful. I said, I'm going to be stood at the end. You're all going to look gorgeous. I'm just going to look like the Gruffalo. Because I really could do with losing some weight. But I tell you something, it's never going to work out for me. It's too hard. No willpower. The only time I lost weight was when I was nauseous, and then when I was in that horrible time, I remember saying to myself, I'm never going to moan about my weight ever again, because it's not the be all and end all of life. At least I can be fat and function. When I'm nauseous, I cannot function, even though I get really skinny because I can't eat. So yeah, I need to remind myself that. Maybe I'll get a tattoo. Fat but still functioning, somewhat. Right, so literally I'm just going over now. I don't even know what I'm doing. I've deepened it up, I've blended it out, I've picked different bits out. Now I'm just trying to blend these underneathy bits that I've put in with the dark green. By the way, if you are just using Prismacolor, just use a black, but use it very sparingly if you don't have the luminance pencil that I used, or find another really dark green from another set. Going back to the dark green again. Some areas look a little bit too light and unfinished. I can just add in little bits. Like I said, sometimes you need to keep going and going and going. I think there is definitely such a thing as overworking, like that purple face, and just going too far with it. But if you really hate something and you think it's ruined anyway, you might as well just keep going, because sometimes it really can just come together. I don't hate this as much as I hated it before. I'm still not pleased. But I tried something, didn't I? I tried something. And I think all in all, I'm really focusing on this. But when we step back from this page and we've got this massive red post box in the foreground, this might just, you know, shy away from the eye a little bit. But I'm just going over with little strokes of this really dark green. Obviously I don't want to cover it all, but I do want it to look better than it looks. So I'm doing sort of different, you know, I'm doing lines that way, lines that way. I'm not keeping the lines uniform. think that's going to be it for tonight, because like I said, I need to get myself a quick bowl of cereal before I go to bed, and then tomorrow I'm back with Nana. I look after Nana 3 days a week, and that's tomorrow. So I'm not sure when I'll be able to do another part. I'm really hoping it'll be this weekend, but I at least want to get this done so that, you know, I'm not messing with saying that I want to carry on this colour along, because I know that I speak with the best intentions and things don't get done. I'm fully aware of that about myself, and it's one of the traits that I don't like, that I never seem to be able to complete things. But anyway, right, I've done like a billion, bazillion, bajillion, trillion lines, so I'm going to leave it at that. Does it look really bad? Let me know what you think. Will it look better once everything else is done and we've got some ornaments on there, and maybe I've banged some shiny paint on there just to really draw the eye away? Yeah, anyway, so it's not been the biggest colour along section for tonight. We've done a tree and some leaves, but that's it. We'll just keep going till it's done. We'll keep chipping away at it. I'll keep coming back. Hold me to account, okay? Right, thank you so much for watching, listening to me go on and on and on once again. I hope you've enjoyed it. And I'll see you on the next part. All right, take care. See you soon.